What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Sports Forum radio show here on 98.1 FM Mile High Sports. We are now joined by a very special guest, a BYB extreme fighter himself. Mr. Uly Diaz is in the building. Man, it is so good to have you here. Great to see you. I know you're getting ready for a big fight. How you feeling right now?
Man, Riggs, I appreciate you having me on. I feel great, man. I'm ready to get out to Denver, Colorado, and kick ass, brother.
Absolutely, man. We are so excited to have you out in the Mile High City. I do want to talk to you, though, man. Before we get into your big fight coming up here, there's one thing that I saw about you, and I had to go back and watch it about 4 times. You know I had to. You have the fastest knockout in combat sports history. I watched it. It was over there in the BKFC. It was one of those, all right, gentlemen, let's fight. You took, what, 1 step forward through a cross or a hook, and that was that, man. Can you talk to me about that one? Was that part of the game plan?
Fastest knockout in combat sports history. Everybody sees, they counted it as 3 seconds. It was actually less than that if you watch the fight. But those 3 seconds, there was a lot of hard work put behind it, man. I like to watch some film on all my opponents. I noticed that opponent, whenever you rushed him, he put his chin in the air and moved back with his hands out. And I go, man, you know what? I'm going to come off the line with him, off on him. And if he does that, I'm throwing an overhand right. And it landed on the button, and we made history, man. It was amazing. But there's a lot of hard work put behind that. It was, it was a good month and a half of just working that same move.
Yeah. Well, and you know what I saw, like, after you did the knockout, they always do that thing in fighting. I don't know why, where they let the clock tick for a few more seconds. And I'm thinking, dude, that was like a 1 second knockout.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
It might have been a second. So to think that anyone's ever going to break that, I don't know if it's ever going to happen. So congrats to you on that. But hey, man, let's talk about your fight coming up here. Mile High Brawl, BYB 26, Mile High City, May 10th at the Stockyard Event Center. Obviously, we're going to be out at that one. It was a great event last time out. You got a cruiserweight bout rescheduled from April, you versus Zion Tomlinson. I did want to ask you, I know it was rescheduled. Is there any reason why it was rescheduled? And do you know, if it was injury, is everything all good now?
No, I mean, everything's all good. It was rescheduled. I had something in my schedule that I couldn't change. I had to be somewhere on April 3rd, which would have been the day of the weigh-ins. So it was a conflict of schedule with me. So they moved it over to Denver, and I'm glad they did, man. I'm excited to go out to Denver and put on a show.
I was just going to say, hey, man, that might have worked in your favor because it's a good time out here in the Mile High City. But looking at this one, you versus Zion Tomlinson, cruiserweight, looking at this guy, how do you dissect him? I know you're a very aggressive fighter. You go at people right away. Is he that kind of fighter as well? I know he's a lot younger than you. You got a lot more experience than him in there. How are you approaching this one without giving me too much of your game plan here?
He's a tough kid himself. He's got like a 3-3 record in BYB. Or in bare knuckle. Like I said, I watch video on all my opponents. I see where he slips up a little bit. Like you just said, I have more experience than he does. I am an aggressive fighter when it comes to fighting. Period. Whether it's boxing, bare knuckle, MMA. I got that Mexican style, and I think that's gonna. I don't think he likes that too much. I'm gonna put the pressure on him early, and I'm definitely gonna get the knockout. I don't know what round it'll come in, but it's definitely coming.
Yep, absolutely. Well, hey, when you come to the Mile High City, the one thing you got to do is the lungs got to be there. And I know you're not a guy that usually goes that deep into fights because you like to knock people out, and I can't wait to see you do it. But you being in Miami, coming to Denver, what have you been doing elevation-wise? How are you training, getting ready for the lungs to come here, assuming that maybe you have to go a little bit deeper in this one?
Man, I'm coming from below sea level to 6,000 feet above sea level. So yeah, man, I've been working with an elevation mask and just working a lot hard on my cardio, just getting them lungs pumped up and God willing, when I get out there, I don't feel it as much as everybody else does. I'm really pushing myself to the limit these days. So when I do get out there, I'm hoping that works out in my favor.
All I can say is I know you got to make weight, drink water, drink water, drink water. As long as you do that, man, you'll be feeling just fine when you get out here. But I wanted to ask you, if you could describe your fight style in one word, what would that word be and why that word?
Aggressive. And why that word? Because that's just my fighting style. Like I said earlier, it's for lack of a better term, I call it Mexican style fighting, where I like to be in the pocket. I like to be up close and personal. and I think that's where I throw my best combination, best shots. I have a hard left hand and right hand, so either one I hit you with, you're gonna feel it, and that's been my style. That's worked for me throughout, MMA, boxing, and bare knuckle. So I'm planning to keep it in tight and and make them feel the pain.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I can't wait to see it. But when you look at Zion, comparing him to your last opponent, I know you had that big knockout win there in January. Looking at this opponent here, what is the difference here? What's the game plan? Like, what does he do that maybe you haven't seen yet in the bare knuckle game?
Well, I mean, I've seen it all. When it comes to fighting, I've seen it all, and I spar with the best people in the world. I've had, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be in the ring with all types of, legends and guys who fought all types of styles. One thing that I see does a lot is he switches stances. He goes from southpaw to orthodox and back and forth. I think that might be something that won't be to his advantage. You know what I mean? If he gets caught crossing over and he gets caught with a right hand or a left hand, it's definitely not going to work for him. But, again, I don't really like speaking too much about what can happen and all this, because at the end of the day, it's a fight. You know what I mean? One punch could change everything. True. And and I like to do I like to let all my hands do all the talking, and I feel like that's what I'm going to do that day. We're going to step in the ring, and all the chit chat and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and he's this and he's that doesn't count for anything until we step in there. So I'm ready to step in there and show the world what I'm about, man. I've been doing this for a long time. Bare knuckle. I've been doing bare knuckle my whole life. If you guys know my story, I was in juvenile detention centers. I was in prison as a young man. I ran with gangs on the street. I fought bare knuckle my whole entire life. So this is nothing new. This is something that I was born to do, and thank God I have the opportunity now to get paid for it, get interviews with like this with you, and have these opportunities. So we've turned life around, and now we get to showcase it in the Trigon, and I'm ready to do it.
Absolutely, man. We are very excited to have you here, and congrats to you on turning it around and being able, like you said, to make a career out of it. It's pretty freaking cool there for you. But I do want to ask you, you're talking about how long you've been in the fight game. You going in here, in your early 40s, taking on a younger guy like this. What would you say you've learned over time from being a youngin' to being the age you are now? What can you take in there that maybe when you were younger you couldn't take in there that you feel now is an advantage for you having all of that experience?
I think the advantage in just me being older, I've got almost 30 pro fights. Just taking all those walks to the ring, being in there, and what goes on all behind the scenes is what's most important. You guys just, everybody sees what goes on the day of the fight, but there's months and years of preparation going into all of this, and discipline and all that. And again, me being in my, I'm 43 years old. I'm a family man. I don't party. I don't go out at night. So I think taking that discipline into the ring really elevates over anything. You could have all the talent in the world, but if you're not disciplined and you're not using the talent to your advantage, then the guy who's doing the harder work, which I consider myself a hard worker, he's gonna go in there and do what needs to be done.
I love to hear it, man. I do want to ask you really quickly if you can give me a fight prediction for this one. When is it going to end? I know you already said KO. What round are we going to see it there on May 10th at the Stockyards Event Center? What round is he going to hit the ground?
Man, if I had to make a prediction, I'd say it'd be over ending a second or somewhere in the middle of the third round. We're gonna first round, unless he comes out aggressive at me and we meet in the middle, it'd be over. But I know he likes to bounce around and kind of work his length. So I think by the end of the second, beginning of mid third, it'll be over. Night will be over. I'll have my hand raised and I'll be out there partying with you, Riggs.
Well, hey, man, we'll be out there ringside looking forward to it. We can't wait, man. We were out at the last one, folks. For those that haven't been out to these BYB events, you guys got to come out to this one on May 10th. It's going to be a phenomenal showdown. These guys go in there and they bang, man. And I've been in there I've been at UFC Live. I've been at BKFC Live, BYB, and that little Trigon, man. There's just something different about it. So we're really looking forward to seeing you in there do what you do. But before you get out of here, man, I know you got a big week ahead. I know you only got a few days here before you come into the city. So looking at some shout outs for you, sponsors, family, team, anybody that you want to give a quick plug to before we let you out of here.
huge shout out to you and the Sports Forum, man, for giving me this platform. I truly appreciate you guys.
It.
Thank you. Shout out to BYB for giving me the platform as well. Accident Medical Group, we got my back. The Fire Sprinkler guy, Kendra Lust and the Lust Army, always amazing. West Miami Jewelry, the Flowery, and all my family out there in Miami. You know, guys tuning in. Everybody go check out the fight. It's going to be at Tacos and Tattoos. They're going to be showing it live. So I'm going to have my people out there in Miami, you know, celebrating. And it's going to be crazy, man. And another shout out too to Native Roots of South Florida. Those are my guys, man. And you know, I appreciate those guys more than you know.
Well, hey, man, safe travels to the city. We're wishing you the best. We're hoping to see you get a win out there. So best of luck to you. You seem confident, and we're confident in you, man. So, guys, give our man Uly Diaz a follow on Instagram, The Monster, at Uly_Monster, guys. And then come out on May 10th to come see him in action. Do what he does. Uly, appreciate the time, man. Best of luck in the fight. Hopefully we talk to you soon, yeah?
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, and thank you for giving me the time.